business fundamentals today. If you have any questions, we're always open to questions. You can always ask Nele. We want this event to be about you guys, so if you have anything to request, just ask. And tomorrow we have karaoke night at Ubud from 7 to 10. So if you want to sing, you can come tomorrow. We have beer and everything. So yeah.
Is there a charge for it?
No. Well, for the beer, I guess you have to pay for the beer, but otherwise, singing is for free. Okay, yeah.
Cool.
So you can start.
Paid to sing.
Huh?
Awesome.
Paid.
Do I need to stand up?
If you want to, you can but also sit down.
Okay, I think I'm going to sit down. Welcome, everyone. I'm Neela. I'm going to talk to you about business fundamentals. I'm going to try and make it not boring. But I think what I want to do, and I'll introduce myself properly too, I think what I want to do is just do around the table to see what you want to get out of this, because this could be a very long presentation where we go into all of these different elements of business fundamentals, like your value proposition, your customer avatars, like all of those things. But if that's not what you're looking for, we can do a different part of it. So finances, or your team, or your strategy, your business model, anything you want, we can do. We can make it more into a workshop if that's what you're looking for. Otherwise, what I have put together is basically what we take someone in an incubator through in about 8 weeks. So like it would be all of these different steps of this is what you do to make sure that you have taken all the steps before you go live with your business to ensure that it doesn't fail, or like it to kind of mitigate the risk of it failing. So why I am doing this is I'm a Belgian Australian. I was born in Belgium. I live in Australia at the moment. I work on a program called the Telstra Business Awards and the Women's Awards. So I judge businesses, small businesses in Australia on who's doing the best at the moment, which is really fun. And it means that we have sort of like a business health check system in place where we go in and really ask them all the questions. It's all business fundamental stuff to understand why a business is really successful, and then they win an award. And then we also have a process in place where we then help all the other businesses that didn't win to get to the next level. So it's really looking at, it's kind of boring, but there is method to that madness. There is things that if you do those things, then you're just more likely to be successful. And so I've tried to capture all of that in here, but please let me know where you're at. So maybe let's go around, maybe that way or that way. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'm Iris. I'm a communications intern here at Ubud. What I want to get out of this, I'm basically just curious what you're going to talk to us
Okay.
about. So that's for me.
Hi, my name is Arlene. In terms of my business, I haven't launched yet, but I'm beyond doing the market research and the customer profile and the value proposition, but I haven't launched yet, so I'm kind of in that area. So
Okay, cool. Thank you. What's your business?
it's helping people to declutter.
Wow. Amazing. And is that a service? Is it a?
Service, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm sorry, I have a lot of questions. So do you offer like a program they follow, or is it a one-on-one service?
It's in person, one-on-one, and I have packages.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Natasha, and I'm working on creating meditation, permaculture, and clean eating space in the US. Here just to, I guess I've worked on a startup before, but just to hear like another perspective on how to structure all the things,
Yeah.
step by step.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan. Yeah, I'm just at a sort of conception stage of my business idea.
Cool.
So the whole fundamentals
Yeah.
is very big.
Cool, awesome.
Generally, yeah.
And what's your business idea?
Sort of eco-friendly shampoo brand.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Leo. I do the events here. I'm the events intern, and yeah, I'm here to record this event. businesses going on the. So yeah, I just wanna hear your talk, I guess.
Cool.
I'm Christina and just launched into kind of the digital nomad sphere. Just finished my master's in social work. So really new to the business side of things and just seeing where exactly my skills and experience can align with a potential business opportunity.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm Michael, and I'm right in line with essentially the same thing, the fundamentals, what you said, the steps to the execution. Business idea is more so about coaching healthy habits and how to help people get into that kind of groove and make it stick. But yeah, fundamentals is
Cool.
what I'm interested in for sure.
Awesome.
I'm Elena. I'm a freelance website translator. And the business part of my freelancing is not for me.
Is that the part where you attract a lot of business, or is it the part where you do all of the administration and the planning and stuff?
Attracting new clients because actually the model itself.
No, it's fine. There's just a mouse on the ground.
Oh, okay.
On the ground here.
Just here, but it's fine. It's gone
No
now.
one's left on the
I
chair.
love that. Okay, no biggie. Yes.
The model is wrong from what they do because I translate startup, the web page for startup. So when a startup needs to go from one country to the other, it's me to do the translation.
Right.
But then when they start to be successful in that country, they start to take more people working on that country, so that are speaking that language, so they don't need me anymore. So I have clients, but that I don't have recurrent clients.
Right. Okay.
I mean, sorry, this is very
No, no, no,
specific.
no. It's really good because I think we're going to go through, and you've probably already done some of this value, really looking at what your ideal customers are. But it looks like that's a really good exercise for you to do because you have a certain skill set and you just have to find your customer that can make your business sustainable so that you're not constantly out there looking for new people. Yay, that's a really great problem to solve. I'm excited. Cool, thank you.
Hi, I am Lauren. I'm the partnership intern here, and I'm also basically just curious. I want to get my knowledge level up.
Okay, cool. So for some of you, some of these steps will be, you'll have already done them, so it will just be a checklist, but I want to take you through and maybe make it a workshop, like write some of the things down and go and do them. They're incredibly valuable. Some of them will seem like, oh yeah, I already know that, or I don't need to do it. But I promise you, when you go through those steps, you'll actually see that your assumption about certain things wasn't right. And then you can tweak your business idea, or you can tweak your model accordingly. What I'd also like to do is sort of, if you have already got a business idea, all of these steps we'll go through, we can put that onto a roadmap, so then you can start when you walk away, you can actually model and see, okay, these are the things that I need to do, this is how long this will take me, this is what the cost is going to be, and you can build a model for your business that way so that you can see. Once you start doing it, this seems like it's a lot of work, but once you start doing it, you'll really understand which parts of your assumptions are working and which aren't, and then you can tweak them that way. So there's 4 components. I'm so sorry, I'm going to talk about what your strengths and weaknesses are, and my strengths are not doing presentations on PowerPoint and formatting, not my strengths. So we'll talk about that, but 4 components to business fundamentals. The first one is you and your business, and we'll get to that one. Then there's strategy, finances, and people. Very simple. But we'll start with you and your business. So this seems like such a straightforward thing, but it really isn't. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing. It's so important. What are your key strengths? Has anyone done a Gallup Strength Finder before? Yeah, I find that incredibly valuable. It's $20, you can do it online. It's a test that will take you through, will ask you 30 minutes of questions, and at the end it will tell you these are your 5 key strengths as an individual. And it's so valuable because, and you will be like, of course, I knew that. But it's so nice to know, because then when you have team members or people that you're working with, you can kind of do a gap analysis and you can see what you're good at and what you're not good at. So I now know, for example, that my strengths are communication, building bridges, activating people, getting people excited. They are not execution. So my co-founder in my business is kind of similar to me, which is why we like each other and we get on. But we're like, yeah, we have all these great ideas and everything's amazing until it needs doing. You know, then we're like, oh, someone's got to do it, you know. So you kind of, it's really nice to be aware of what your strengths are and what they aren't. And then you can link it to your business idea.
What was that test called?
Gallup, yeah. Also,
How did you solve for like not having executors?
yeah, so we've got people, so hi, come in. We outsource those things. So there's certain things that I'm happy to do anyway, even though I don't enjoy them very much, like business modeling and our, profit and loss statement. I don't really enjoy doing it, but I will do it anyway because I think it's important. But there's certain things that I really do not enjoy doing that I'm like, there's no way I'll outsource that to someone else. But we have both agreed on that together, knowing that we both don't enjoy that. So, yeah. It's important to know that, I think. It's also important when you start talking to people about your business to know why you're doing it. People don't buy what you do because of your product. They buy why you do it. So link that to your values. So if you're looking at what are your 5 key values, does your company have the same values or not? Because that makes no sense if it doesn't. If you are talking about your business to people, you want them to see that you are super passionate about what you do. And the reason why I also don't recommend doing something that you're not super passionate about, because I think we all have this, ideas sometimes where we're like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could invent this app that could solve this problem, but actually we don't care about that solution. It's going to be very hard for you to keep doing that for 5 years with all of your energy and all of that, like the sacrifices you need to make. Because if you're not passionate about that thing, you're not going to get through that period typically. The one thing we see that businesses have in common that win these awards is that they're so grounded in their values and their entire business has that running through it. So they will be like, my business is about this, we're fixing this problem, and every person that works in that company really wants to have this problem solved. And they'll have values like, our value is integrity, our value is freedom, and it will mean that everyone works flexibly. So you want to be attracting people that also have that value. Otherwise, you'll be creating problems in your company. These are very, very basic things, but they're really hard to fix further down the line. So just make sure that you get that very straight in the beginning. You say, this is my company, this is my problem and my solution. These are my 5 values that I will not compromise on.
A question. How do you distillate those values? Because those are all value lists, but I find it so difficult to, they come from the head.
Yeah,
quite often.
they come from the heart, yeah. So
No, they come from the head when you read them. How to get them from the heart?
Well, I mean, a very easy way to do it is to just Google a list of values and sit down and like circle the ones that you feel most attracted to, and then compare them to your business idea and see which ones are transferable. So like my values, my personal values, 3 of them are the same than my business values and 2 of them aren't, because one of my personal values is freedom, and we just can't, like in our company that doesn't really 100% match, so it's not a business. But integrity is one, and being real is one too. So
A friend of mine tried once writing eulogy.
a eulogy.
Yeah, it kind of gives you this overall big perspective of your life, and eulogy turns out that I didn't try it, but he managed and said that it was perfect for values.
And maybe that's true. Like very simple ways to do it. I think if we go and make it a bit more esoteric, is looking at what are the things you love doing as a child, what are your 5 favorite memories in life, and what are the common denominators in those. So like, you know, are they all travel memories? Are they memories of spending time with family? Were you creating something? Were you doing something with your body? And then you can distill them that way. Okay, that's a very long time about you and your business, but you should be able to talk about that within 1 minute, and that should have your values and your passion in it. And find a great tagline. This seems like such a random one, but one of our mentors told me that this year, and we spent 6 months doing it. And it is really wonderful if you have a quick tagline that's like 4 words or something that describes your business and somehow also incorporates all of those values. Seems impossible, but when you nail that, you can just meet someone in a lift and go, oh, what do you do? Oh, I do pfft. And they will be so, oh, tell me more, and you'll have captivated them. Like my favorite one in Australia is we've got this for-purpose company that deals with food waste, and their tagline is "We nourish the nation." That's amazing, right? So when you meet that woman in the lift and you say, "What do you do?" She's like, "Oh, I nourish the nation." And of course you're like, "Well, what do you mean? How do you?" And you need to about you and create sort of that vibe of. Our tagline is claim your power for good. So it's basically a company that helps women claim their feminine power to have a social impact. But saying claim your power for good is kind of like, oh, what do you mean? People always get very curious about it. It took us like 6 months to figure that one out, and like lots of poetry and whatever. But once we found it, it's really fun to have one. So that could be a fun exercise to do when you have lots of time, like on the side. So I'm going to move. Any questions on that? Because that was a long talk about you and your business. No? So next part is strategy, which is going to be a bit more workshopy. But I'm going to talk you through your value proposition, your customer map, your product and cycle, market opportunity, competitor analysis, IP and trademarking, risk analysis and mitigation, marketing. I'm not going to talk about marketing. It's basically just you need a marketing plan. Like this is not going to be a chat about how to write one, but it's important. And partnerships. So let's start with value proposition.
I'm sorry, with those topics,
Mm-hmm.
Would you say they're in order of
This is the yeah. I would say this is the order that you do them in. Yeah. Yes. Short answer. This is basically how you would do this is how we did it in an incubator. So these are all the steps we work through week by week to get to the end product.
And it will take a week to do each?
It doesn't. You can do it in a few hours if you just put your head down to do it. The thing is that once you start doing each component, you may have to go back and change some of the other steps, and then it'll work through that way. So start with value proposition, and I'll go through like how you actually do this, and this also is one of those things that seem really simple, but what's the problem you're solving? Because most people start from the solution instead of the problem, and the issue with that is that often you have found a way to solve something that's not actually solving the real problem that people have. In any design thinking course, people will tell you that if you were in the early 1900s trying to make transport go quicker, you would have wanted to invent a faster horse, but instead someone invented a car. You know,